Hey, podcast fans, I've got a quick question for you today. Do you tend to drive the struggle bus every year during the holiday season? Are you ready to change that narrative this year? I'm going to be opening up enrollment for our Transformation ReBoot membership during the month of October, and you can hang out after the episode today for all the important details so that you don't miss out on this enrollment period and the opportunity to keep your positive momentum going during this holiday season. Now, today, you're going to get to listen in as I do a one-on-one strategy session with one of my Transformation ReBoot community members. We're going to dive deep into one of their transformation danger zones, and I'm going to deliver a game plan that they can implement to set themselves up for success. Now, let's dive into this coaching session. All right, Tracy, welcome to your hot seat. How can I help you today?
I have a couple things if we have a chance to cover them. Number one is I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but I can't get the weight that I've gained off. I don't know if I need to change something. I've been doing keto. I've been, doing it the way I did it before, the right way. And I've been exercising. I'm just stalled.
Yep. So when you say you've been doing it, like how long have we had of like perfection? Has it been like a couple of weeks or has it been like 6 months or what's it look like?
No, it's probably been like 28 days, I think, since our last cycle.
Yeah. Are you okay? So let's just review fundamental stuff. We're getting to the gym more than once a week. Yep. Keto, as far as like falling off cheat meals, anything going on there?
I've been good. I had the Mother's Day cheat, but that was that was it.
Okay.
Those were cookies.
Okay. So not a big deal there.
Things and
how are
macros?
Yeah. How are calories going?
I'm 18, at least 1,800.
Okay, good.
I'm going more. Good. Sometimes I'm a little less, but I've been sticking to that.
Okay. And then bi-weekly weigh-ins at the gym. How are we doing with that?
Yeah, I was doing that. Although I think I missed yesterday's. I can't remember. I have to look at this.
Okay. So make sure
I've been doing it.
Yeah. Once every 2 weeks, not weighing yourself. Yeah. That's super important. Okay. And then, workbook, battle plan workbook. Okay. Let's make sure we get in that's, again, that's one of the fundamental things before we look outside of the stuff that always works. Let's make sure that, we've got all those things lined up. So battle plan workbook, that always helps. That just gives me more data to work with as a coach too. We can kind of refer to that. I think, as long as you're doing all the right stuff and you're not gaining weight, you've just been kind of holding steady.
Yeah. Well, I've gained when I messed up, whenever that was, like Christmas, I think.
Yeah.
Here I am. Can't get back off.
Well, then the only everything looks good, sounds good as far as your overall game plan. We just have to keep doing it. Like that's the key thing, is not look for a magic bullet out. It's like, what am I doing wrong? You're not doing anything wrong. We just got to let your body catch back up. That's the thing, is being consistent. And the next time you feel like things are getting rocky and you might fall off, just remember how hard this has been. Like, okay, I can't check out for a holiday season. I can't not pay attention to what I'm doing for a month, because each time we do this back and forth, it's a harder transition. So it's a good sign we're not gaining weight still and we're maintaining. So we just got to keep doing what we're doing. I don't think you need to do less calories, but you can always impact the calorie balance by adding an extra workout in, or just pushing it a little bit harder during one of your workouts. That kind of levels up the calorie burn. So little stuff like that will help, making sure we're sleeping well, our stress levels are low. That's going to help with releasing of the weight. And, I just think we just got to give it some more time to work, and just be patient, but then also just, again, be mindful as you start to slip, like, okay, this was really hard to get things off last time. So let's make sure that we're doing good there. Outside of that, we could try like an extended fast. Sometimes that'll kind of kick things back in, like even just like a 24-hour, or between 24 and 72 hour, just like a water fast, and just kind of see if that'll just kind of kick things into gear. But I don't think it's necessary, but that would be the only thing I would try outside of what you're already doing. And then just make sure we're plugged in, with the stuff that we know works with, the Tuesday night calls, you're good at getting on the hot seats and things like that. But just, all those support beams, we want to make sure those are nice and solid, which you've been doing a good job with. So I feel good about that. But yeah, I think just being patient with the process, let it do its thing. And because it really, like, I know it's tough because you've been there and you want to get back to there, but we're not on a deadline. Like, this isn't like a work deadline or a race or anything. It's like all we have is time, and we know that, doing the things that have worked in the past, that's a good idea to stick with that. And we don't have to figure it all out in the next 28 days. But sometimes there's it's like a rubber band. Like, you get stretched in the wrong direction. You have to get there's kind of a rebound to where it shortens. Then you get back to where you want to be. So I feel like we're in a little bit of that transition phase with your body weight of, you've stopped the negative momentum. Now we're transitioning back into positive momentum, and you just got to let that kind of simmer for a second. Does that make sense?
Okay. It does. And some of it, I think, is that, I'm sticking to it, but I don't have that why, that really meaningful why that I had before, because before it was my health and it was the way I felt. And I mean, now, I don't look as good as I would like to look, but compared to the way I used to look, I'm fine. And my health is good. So I just don't have that why anymore.
Yeah. You're in a comfortable position, like, you're healthy. You're not scared you're going to die from, from heart attack, from being like obese or anything like that. Right. So it's good, but it's also that fire isn't there the same way. So we got to just, be mindful of that, work on that, and just find that next thing that really lights you up. And it won't be the same level of inspiration as saving your life, because that's pretty much the top of the iceberg there. But just thinking of something that's still going to fire you up to get out of bed. So have you done the 4 tendencies quiz yet? Have you taken that, the Gretchen quiz? Yes. Which tendency?
And what do you call it?
There's upholder. There's
it's question. The most popular one.
Yes. So yeah, upholder, questioner. Now you got me blanking on it, but so I know obliger. That's what it is.
Obliger. I was thinking enabler, but like, no, that's not right.
Obliger. So okay, that's super helpful. So we want to think in terms of, and this makes sense because obligers really struggle to dig inspiration and motivation out of themselves, right? They are not good at being self-accountable at all. So accountability anchor points are huge. So for somebody like you need to get out there and book all your stuff out as far as you possibly can, so that it's just a process and you are accountable to that, because you don't want to let, Marcy down by not showing up to your weigh, and you don't want to let your personal trainer down, your group class instructor down. That's the mindset of the obliger, is I'm going to show up for them, even though really it's for you. So like booking your hot seat calls a month in advance, kind of anytime you set up your workbook cycle, you sit down like this next week, you should be working on your next workbook. And as you do that, use that as part of the process of, okay, I'm going to book my calls, my weekly stuff. I'm going to book my weigh-ins. I'm going to book my classes. Like, use that to just set up the next cycle. And as an obliger, all that's plugged in, and that's accountability. But always just be looking for, you should always do an accountability buddy inside the group 100% of the time. Don't not ever do that. Like that, any form of accountability should be like, yes, just say yes. And that will help with leveling up your get up and out of bed and into action type of thing. So that's going to be super important as an obliger. Now you can swing towards either an obliger that trends towards being an upholder, or an obliger that trends towards being a rebel. I don't see any rebel out of you.
I don't know. I've got some rebel in me. That's the strange part.
Yeah. So that's just something to think about though, too, because you can trend towards one or the other. You're not going to necessarily trend towards questioner, which is kind of the other side of the equation, but I don't know. So think about that, but just be thinking through this lens. Have you read 4 Tendencies yet?
No.
Okay. We're going to do a book club inside ReBoot, and that's going to be our first book that we're going to do. Okay. So there you go. But it's super interesting because Gretchen talks about, as this type of person, here's probably how you think about things in different lights. So like work, relationships, health. And it's just like, when I am an upholder, and when she went through the whole upholder thing, I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. But it also helps you deal with other people. So maybe there's somebody at work, like you're going to make everybody at work take the quiz. Like, just take the quiz. Like I made Marissa take the quiz,
Oh yeah, I made Lance.
So it's like, okay, now we know how to talk to each other. And as an obliger, we now know, like, it makes sense that you're struggling with the motivation for this next level of your transformation, because that's what obligers do. They struggle with internal desire to motivate themselves for change. So it should take a little bit of pressure off, and just realize that it's not a failure for you to ask for help. It's not a failure for you to have someone else coaching you, holding you accountable. That's like the most important thing. And it's a part of something that you should be looking for. So accountability groups, workout buddies, all of that stuff is super important. So layer that on as much as possible, and then schedule it in advance as much as possible. And if you do feel that rebel trending towards that a little bit, rebels are more, people that want to make up their own mind and make the decision as their decision. It's not someone else telling them. Mm-hmm. So an obliger that this is what my wife is. She's an obliger that trends towards rebel. Mm-hmm. They can be hard to coach, because they are people. As an obliger, you don't motivate yourself well, right? But as a rebel, you don't want to ask for help. So it's like, oh damn, I don't want to ask for help, right? But that's what I need. So just understanding, it's almost putting in the perspective of, okay, I realize I need to ask for help, but I get to pick who I ask help from and when I ask for it. As a rebel, having those options laid out in front of you, that will let you pick and choose, so you still feel empowered, which you are. Because you could just tell me to screw off and not do anything that I tell you to do. But if I kind of fan these things out in front of you, you'd be like, you can do the accountability buddy, you can do the weekly calls, you can do the workbook. Here are all these options. Let's just make sure we're plugging in to as much of this as you can handle. And then you make those choices. That should satisfy the rebel inside Tracy.
You never knew I was a rebel.
Is that making sense though? I mean,
yes, it does. Yes.
Vibe with the way you're thinking?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Because when you hit it, it should feel good and right. Like with me, the whole thing of being an upholder, having her explain that I can motivate myself through a checklist. I'm like, this is why I have so many checklists. And this is why I love checking the checkbox. Like, I get extreme pleasure out of checking that checkbox of whatever. Like, as soon as we're done, I get to check the checkbox of completed Tracy's hot seat call. I'm just like, I love the feeling of completing a thing. And it motivates me to do the next thing. Like, it really fires me up.
See, that is so not me.
Yeah. And that makes sense, because like my tendency is upholder towards questioner. So it's complete opposite of your, like, we have no intersection at all. But that doesn't mean like we can't be friends or anything. It just means we have to understand that when we communicate, right? Yeah. Like, if you were my boss, you would want to give me a list of things to accomplish. Mm-hmm. I would crush it. 100, that would never not get done, And with you as a client, I know that we need to focus on accountability, but I have to give you some options to choose from, to plug into, so that you're empowered by that. So it's just understanding each other to communicate.
That's so cool. Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm really psyched about it. And I almost feel bad that I'm doing all this free promo for Gretchen and her books and everything, but they're so good. I don't feel bad about it, but she's awesome. But it's just such an effective tool to use for communication, because that's where people tend to struggle, is understanding what they're telling themselves and understanding how to communicate to other people. So it's a nice little bridge. All right. What was this? You had another thing to talk about. What do you have?
The thing was just being like, listening to my body cues, which I'm not good at either. Like, hungry. Yes, I'm hungry, but like last week, I think I was craving chocolate, but I think I was tired. So I went to bed, and that was it. And, just things like that. Or like one time you told me that you ate the steak and you're sweating all night. It's like, well, I did that, but like, I would just think it was a hot flash. So or maybe it was, I don't know. So I'm really not in tune with my body. I've been used to just ignoring it for so long that I want to be in tune.
Well, I mean, I think what might be cool is with your next workbook, we do the habit tracker. I would maybe do like a daily journal of how you're feeling, what it might be connected to, just ideas. And it doesn't have to be like, I mean, as a medical professional, I think that you might be interested in this. This might be kind of cool for you. Yeah. But just do a journal. It can be a written journal, a computer, whatever, on your phone, whatever makes sense for you, Rebel. Yes, now I can read your mind. you're totally screwed now, Tracy. So just have a daily thing where you say, here are the things that I felt. It can be like, I had great energy today. Why might that be? I was sleepy today. Why might that be? I had an upset stomach. I, was gassy. I was bloated. And just list certain things of what may have contributed to that, and see if you can use your doctor brain to analyze and connect the dots a little bit. And I think that'd be a cool little 28-day experiment just to see, I'm hungry. I was craving chocolate. Then I went to bed early and I felt better, and just make a little daily notes and make that your habit tracker. I think that'd be super cool. So some self-analysis. That's the only way we figure this out, because everybody's a little bit different, right? Those signals are different for everybody. And no, I think that would be really interesting. Now, so what do you think, so I can hold you accountable. What do you think would work the best for you? Like a written journal, phone journal, like a computer little daily thing. What do you think makes the most sense for you?
Written.
Okay. Then
you would never be able to read it.
Do you already have a written journal that you're using?
No,
okay.
Of course not.
So that's step one. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just go get, a notepad from work or something. Like it can be like one of those little freebie things that drug reps bring in with their, it says like whatever drug they're pushing on top of it. Just grab one of those and just do a little daily, just make sure there's 28 sheets that you can use, and just keep it somewhere. Okay. So the next part of the accountability is keep it somewhere at the end of the day so that you will do that thing before you go to sleep, or somewhere throughout the day. Like keep it in your lab coat pocket or something like that, where you can be like, ooh, I'm feeling da-da-da-da. Here's what it might be. And then just do that every day, and then do your habit tracker. And I think you'll come away with some nice research there, Dr. Tracy.
Cool. Yeah. All right.
Does that sound doable?
That sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good.
All right.
Yes.
So let's talk action points and homework. First thing, sticking with the fundamentals. I don't think we need to change anything. Let's not stress out about it. Then I love the idea of the habit, because it's going to help with weight loss too. Because maybe you come up with something like, oh, damn it, this one thing is stressing me out, which is causing cravings, which is causing me not to sleep well. And that could be one of the reasons why we're not seeing faster weight loss. So, so we're going to get a notepad. We're going to keep it somewhere that is easily accessible, and you will do that every day and track it as your habit for the next cycle. Cool.
I will do that. I will do that. I may even do check boxes like you.
Oh my God. There's nothing better than a checkbox. It's like amazing. So nice. All right, cool. So I feel like we got good marching orders, and use the next week to set all this up. Next week is week 4 in our current cycle. So we're going to print out the workbook. We're going to write that sucker out, and then just establish the habit from there. Cool.
Yes. Great.
All right, Tracy, I appreciate you. I think we're going to get some good momentum going this next 28 days. Hey, thanks for hanging out after the episode. I hope that you enjoyed listening in on this coaching session. Now, our Transformation ReBoot membership enrollment will be opening up again during the month of October, and I want you to take a good hard look at this if you are someone that especially tends to drive that struggle bus during the holiday season. With this membership, you have access to one-on-one monthly strategy sessions, just like what you heard today on this episode. We also have weekly small group chats for a boost of accountability and support. With your membership, you also get access to our private Facebook community, where we're going to do some fun challenges, and we also match you up with an accountability buddy for each 28-day cycle that we go through. And special bonus, you get a fresh monthly mini course developed by me on topics like intermittent fasting, strength training, and how to handle the holiday season. Now, you can do a free 10-day trial anytime in the month of October and try on this membership before you fully commit. And my goal for my members this holiday season is to help them lose weight and not momentum. No more driving that struggle bus during the holidays. Now, you can head on over to millionpoundmission.com to get more program details on the Transformation ReBoot membership and get ready to launch your free 10-day trial inside of the program in October. Thanks for listening, and I will see you on the next episode.